Good afternoon. My name is Juan Play. I am a undergraduate student at the University of Denver studying marketing. Um, and today I'm going to be discussing the final session that I attended on my third day here at South by Southwest. Um, the title of the session was The Ultimate Potential of Virtual Reality, Promises and Perils. And this was, I think, by far my favorite session that I've attended here yet. And it was done by Kent Bai, who runs the Voices of VR podcast, which talks with industry leaders and pioneers um, from all over the world about virtual reality. And so I think he is probably one of the most well-connected people in this entire space, and he's heard probably the most perspectives about virtual reality of anyone on Earth. So hearing him talk was really a treat. Um, and so I will preface this by saying that this was the most information dense session that I've attended yet. In fact, it was too information dense to the point where it was impossible to record everything was said during the time. There were about a thousand PowerPoint slides. Um, and so I'm gonna do my best to sort of distill down some of the important things that he had talked about. And just from listening to the entire conversation, I got the perspective that he is very scared about where this technology is going, and um, he feels like we're in dire need of regulations before this goes any further. But he's also very passionate about its capabilities and um, is excited to see where the future goes. But I would say he was 75%, 80% pessimist, 20% optimist about um, the evolution of this technology. Um, so just to address a couple of things that were talked about during this session, he talked about this concept of the cognition ecosystem and the embodied cognition, which includes the connection of body and mind, which what we know now is that our body has a direct impact on our our neurophysiology, um, and it's important to recognize that how we move our body and how we interact with our environment plays a really crucial role in how we um, interpret our environment and how we and just how we think in general. Um, so what he said was, primarily right now, the development of virtual reality is driven by entertainment and gaming, exercise and fitness, um, and story living. Um, and this is experiences that are cultivated by other people, and makes these experiences truly real and embodied for others. And one of the future outlooks that he had sort of mentioned, which I thought was really cool because I'm a big Trekkie, was this idea of the holodeck, which, if you're not familiar with, it's this room that crew members in Star Trek would go to, and they could ask this artificial intelligence to generate any type of environment or experience that they would want to, and it would project this environment in this room, and it would be completely indistinguishable from actual reality. So he the next sort of big iteration of this technology is a combination of generative AI like ChatGPT and virtual reality. Another really surprising thing that I hadn't really thought about before, but this idea of blazing new neural pathways. And this is virtual reality is unique because it allows you to capture your imagination in new ways. And so, by doing so, we're able to rewire our brain in different ways than we've ever been able to before. So those are some of like the benefits and the more positive outlooks on virtual reality. But some of the big pieces that he had addressed were escapism and addiction and surveillance capitalism, because when we're using virtual reality data about the position of all the parts of our body, our gaze, our facial expressions, everything is being recorded and interpreted by whatever software we're pairing the system with. So the fact that an authoritarian government, for example, in China, could have access to all this crazy, very personal and habitual data is really quite scary. And this, in turn, can kind of lead to this idea of mind hacking, because we don't really know. We know that there is this cognition ecosystem that connects our mind and body, but we don't know exactly the capabilities of modifying or understanding people's movements and cross-analyzing that with their their thoughts. So it is definitely possible that with enough data on somebody's physical attributes, that we could essentially read people's minds. And then another really big thing is that there's no moderation right now with virtual reality, and we've seen bullying and abuse in virtual reality environments like VR chat. And right now, nobody over the age of 13 is supposed to be able to be on these platforms, but that's not really being true, or that's not really being moderated properly. So that's definitely something to look out for. But I can see this data that could be collected for virtual reality systems being used to augment marketing campaigns, for example, because we just don't know the extent to which our minds can be read through this stuff. And if it turns out that we can actually glean a lot of personal information about habits and about the way we think about certain things, then that's just another piece of contextual information for marketers to use to target us, and whether that be outside the virtual space or within the virtual space. So we'll have to see where this goes. Thank you.